dunamis power. Greater is he that is in me. Greater is he that is in me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. On the day of Pentecost, a rushing mighty wind blew into the upper room and baptized all of them with the power greater than any earthly foe. And I'm so glad I got it too. I'm gonna let the whole world know.
Come on and sing, somebody.
Greater is he that is in me. Greater is he that is in me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Well, God is greater than who I was made. God is greater than God is greater than who he's made. God is greater than any tongue can tell. God is greater than just me. God is greater than who he's made. God is greater than who I was made. God is greater than the power of sin. God is greater than who he's made. God is greater than any tongue can tell. God is greater, 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 greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. God is greater than who I was made. God is greater than the power of sin. God is greater than who he's made. God is greater than any tongue can tell. God is greater than who he's made. God is
Man, I don't know why you laughing, man. I don't know.
Oh, you just mad because you got Poe in the Kalinga, man.
I mean, what you expect, man? Them choir practice was brutal,
Oh.
man. Come on, you guys, man. We turned out good.
Yeah, we did.
Good evening and welcome to our Midweek Bible study. Today is Wednesday, August the 8th, 2022. Always a privilege and an honor, humbled and just grateful to be able to have this opportunity to sit on this side of the screen and share some findings in the Bible. I truly believe that on or before the end of this segment, we'd be better people serving God in this world. For all of our updates and current events, you can text SOCCI, to the number 925-203-6980 for updates and current events. Text SOCCI to 925-203-6980. Well, I'm already prayed up and ready to go, so I'm going to spend as much time as I can sharing with you some findings. We're talking about proper and effective prayer, and the last time we left off was we were talking about that there's a cure for cancer, and I hope you would hit your like and share and tag some names, and let's just look into some of my findings, and then maybe if you activate your faith, and work some of these principles, that you too, can be the beneficiary of tonight's Bible study. Hit your like and your share, tag some names. Okay, so, proper and effective prayer, simply, it's very important. It's very important. This past Sunday, a 9 o'clock class, I talked about how to pray. It's very important that we know how to pray. We think we know how to pray. We have our own ideas of what prayer is. Prayer is actually not a, ritual. It's not a, like a type of something, that we do, to feel good about. praying is actually talking with God, and like Jesus, it is the main reason why Jesus, when he prays, he always prayed by himself, and then we saw it in Scripture where he actually tells us, that we should go into a closet or go into our rooms and pray by ourselves. So, I'm just going to, talk to you that it's so critical, that we understand how prayer works. There is a proper way of praying. There is an effective way to pray. And proper and effective prayer simply means that God responds only to our obedience to his commands. Period. That's what proper and effective prayer means. It means that God only responds to our obedience to his commands. You know what I'm saying? And after he commands, and then you do. You see what I'm saying? I do. And then after we do, and then he forces his hand, because, we are people that believe in him, and not just believe in him, but we believe in him so much that we obey, his instructions and his commands. So meaning, after we have done all that we can, then we stand on his word, dead or alive. You know what I'm saying? After we do everything that we can, let me just real simple English. After you drink a lot of water, take your vitamins, do what you're supposed to do a little bit of exercise every day, eat right, after you do all those things, then you stand on the promises of God. Isaiah 53:5. For he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his stripes, thank you, Jesus. By his stripes we are healed, or we were healed, or we is healed, or we am the healed. So, faith is an act. You understand what I'm saying? It's an action word. Faith is the knowing, and then you act upon what you know. So faith is an act. It's also the proof of our compliance. See, our compliance is the proof, that his ways of doing things works. We put our faith in that, So what we got to understand is that God does not respect us because we pray. He doesn't respect you because you're born again. He doesn't respect you because you're saved. He doesn't respect you because you have been baptized. He doesn't respect you. None of that. He respects faith. It is impossible to please God. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. You see what I'm saying? And faith is not a denomination. Faith is not anything other than your standing with God and his ways of doing things. You see what I'm saying? I have faith. Watch this. That's why we don't never talk about tomorrow. The reason being is because we know that tomorrow always shows up. And even though I'm sweating right now, got the fan on, and I got my ice water, it's no use for me to complain about the heat. I'm not going to complain about the heat. I'll say things, like, woo, it's scorching out here. Like, yesterday, I I had to wait till the heat went down, and then I went walking like a little bit after 8:00. Right after this, I'm going to go walk. It's the sun is down. It's still light out there, but it's really cooled down. I don't complain about the heat. I'll acknowledge, that it's burning. You know what I mean? But I don't say, man, I can't stand this heat, man. I can't, it's a waste of time. You know why? Because winter's coming. Pretty soon it's going to be cool. Then what we going to say? See, then we're going to complain about it's cold. So that's faith. We don't talk about things that we know, that is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like water faucet. You don't walk towards your sink and just before you get to your water faucet or and then you say, "Oh Father, Lord, I pray, hope water come out of this faucet. I pray the water come out of it." We don't. We just walk in, mindless. We don't think about nothing. We just go over there, turn it on, water come down. You see what I'm saying? But that's because you have faith in a certain system that it doesn't require prayer. There's a lot of things, that we so desire that doesn't require prayer. It just requires faith to be activated of the knowing. You see what I'm saying? It's like you walk into. We'll talk about that. You see what I'm saying, everybody. So it's as simple as a teacher, doesn't give students, good grades, just because they're well behaved. There's a lot of well behaved students, that come out with F's, D's, and C's. You know what I'm saying? But teachers grade students based on their study and readiness for an exam. So when the exam is, there's going to be two types of students in that class. There's going to be a student that walks in there, with their head up, chest back, shoulders back, chest out. Why is that? Because they know they study and they're ready for the exam. But then there's another student that's coming in there, dragging their feet, head down, all sluggish and everything. Why? Because they lack the faith. They have no faith to stand on. Faith is the knowing. Faith is knowing that you studied and you know the answers to every question that's about to present it unto you. In Romans chapter 2, verse 10 to 11, King James Version, look what it says. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good. Do you see that, everybody? If you do the work, you see what I'm saying? If you do the study, if you do the research, if you work out, if you take your vitamins, eat right, drink a lot of water, exercise a little bit, guess what you get? You'll get glory, honor, and peace. So look what it says in Romans chapter 2, verse 10 to 11, King James Version. It says, but glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentiles. Verse 11, for there is no respect of persons with God. You see what I mean? There's no respect of persons with God. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter if you're the pastor of your church. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? There is no respect of persons with God. So we've been talking about, that there's a cure for cancer. And I'm very humbled to share this information with you. I shared a lot in the past, and I can't go back. But you know what I've decided to do? That I think I'm going to finish, this tonight, but if I do finish, reading about this amazing doctor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, do it over again. I'm going to read it all over again. And because I really want to get it to you until it's inside of you to the point where your faith is built up for you to be in compliance to what has brought these people healing upon their bodies. There is a cure for it. The thing of it is and when I say there's a cure for cancer, it means that God uniquely created, our bodies to heal itself. God did that. And the problem with the church nowadays is that we spend so much time praying for healing when your body is yearning for certain nutritions, for certain vitamins, for certain minerals, that will help this body do what it was created to do. You know what I'm saying? Not only all of those that I just mentioned that I take, but I take sea moss, because sea moss has 91 minerals in it. You know what I mean? I take, there's three types of sea moss. There's super blend, there's elderberry, and then there's the classic, and for more information, you can inbox or message, my son, Pastor Alex II, and place an order. I take all three, right? I think one is $25, and I think the other one is $30, and I think the other one is $35. all of them, is vital to your body. You understand? So I take all my, so for the super blend, I take that first thing in the morning, like about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then my elderberry, I take it around 3 p.m. And then the last one I take, before I go to bed is what they call the classic sea moss, and, all three of them got 91, minerals, super minerals for your body. Helps with everything of your body. So what when I say, there's a cure for cancer, it simply means, again, that God uniquely created this machine right here that's called our bodies to heal itself. In Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22, is there no medicine in Gilead? Is there no medicine in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why is there no healing for the wounds of my people? You see what I'm saying, everybody? Excuse me. While we're praying for healing, in Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22, it says, is there no medicine in Gilead? And then he says, is there no physician there? Why is there no healing for the wounds of my people? Ezekiel 47:11 and 12. Ezekiel 47:11 and 12. Yet its swamps and marshes will not be healed. They will be left for salt. All kinds of trees providing food will grow along both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, and their fruit will not fail. Each month they will bear fresh fruit, because the water comes from the sanctuary. Their fruit will be used for food, and their leaves for medicine. Wow. Did you get that, everybody? Revelation chapter 22, verse 2 in the ESV. Through the middle of the street of the city, also on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation. So, so now I'm going to share with you, about this doctor, who, before she became a doctor, she was riddled with cancer. And, it was when the doctor said, they have to amputate her legs, and they had to surgically remove her breast, because of cancer. And then that's when she fired her doctors and she went on this this regimen, that, it's an amazing story, so I'm going to continue, but I can't go back, but I will come back and I will continue I'm just going to push this information out. And then all I can do is pray and hope that you and I, will take, these testimonies, make it ours by simply doing what they did. The scripture talks about, emulate or, copy or, do what those people did, who with their super faith, activate your faith like they did. So how Dr. Renee cured the so-called terminal cancer patients. All right. So I'm going to read and I'm going to comment in between, but don't worry about it. Before 8:30, I'm done. So I'm going to read. All right. One of Dr. Renee's patients was Jim, and then the initial M, a 61-year-old carpenter from Chicago. In 1993, Jim's doctor told him he had prostate cancer. And like most people, Jim did what his doctor told him. He got onto the operating table as fast as possible and had his whole prostate cut out. They cut out his prostate. Jim's cancer seemed to be under control. The Bible says, there is a way that seems right unto a man. You follow what I'm saying? Well, Jim's cancer seemed to be under control for the next 9 years. although he had to stay on prescription drugs. Okay. But then the cancer came back. The cancer came back. And this is my main concern, is that we may feel, like a little relief, after surgery, after chemo, after, and as you can see, this, Jim, he was doing pretty good, for 9 years, but he had to live taking, some drugs, some medication. But then the cancer came back big time. That's what usually happens to most people. You don't cure cancer, but you don't cure cancer by cutting out one part of the body. Cancer is a disease of the whole body, a systemic disease. Cancer is a systemic disease, okay? That's why so many people seem to get better for a while, and then their cancer comes roaring back worse than ever. Cutting out cancer or poisoning it with chemotherapy just gets rid of the symptoms, right? For a little while, it doesn't get rid of the causes. Now, when Jim's cancer came back, he had a low-grade fever all the time and started losing weight. It turned out he had bone cancer that was attacking him from head to toe. His two ugliest tumors were on his forehead and his inner thigh, near his knee. But he had other tumors as well. Wow. So in that 9 years, he was accumulating all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? It came back so bad, so a specialist told him he needed to start chemotherapy right away, but then something happened. Jim's daughter told her dad. Jim's daughter stepped into the picture and told her dad, chemo? No way. Jim's daughter stepped up in there and said, Dad, chemo? No way. That's when Jim's daughter stepped in and said, no way. Jim's daughter heard of Dr. Renee's clinic and how she helped patients heal with natural methods. She insisted that her dad try natural methods first before going back on chemotherapy. For people like Jim with late-stage cancer, I don't know if it's any worse than that, but if it's late-stage cancer, it almost sounds like it's too late. You see what I'm saying? With late-stage cancer all through their bodies, chemotherapy just buys a little more time, but even that's doubtful. Chemotherapy only buys just a little more time, but even that is doubtful. Studies show you're better off doing nothing than doing chemotherapy. The survival rate for such patients is very low, no matter what doctors tries to claim. So Jim went to see Dr. Renee, and she told Jim his cancer was very bad, but she also gave him new hope. And I'm praying and hoping that tonight, I'm giving you some new hope. Okay, I'm praying and hoping that, not only that I'm giving you new hope, but you'll hit your like, tag some names, and share, so that you can also give your family members, loved ones, and friends new hope, right? But she also gave him new hope. After all, Dr. Renee also had after all, remember, Dr. Renee also had hopeless cancer too. Okay, remember that. So Dr. Renee told Jim, I don't heal, but you will heal yourself. She said, I don't heal, but you will heal yourself if you do what I tell you. If you do what I tell you. I mean, it's just like the scripture that we talk about, after you have done all that you can, you put on the whole armor, put on the whole armor of salvation, put on, wear the breastplate, get your sword, get your spear, get your breastplate, put on everything. And all those pieces of equipment have meanings. You see what I'm saying? And then is after you have done all that you can, stand. I don't heal, but you will heal yourself if you do what I tell you. And he did. And he did. and that's my prayer, is that we're listening and that we'll do what I'm saying, or otherwise we're wasting time. Okay. And he did. He followed her program to the letter. Followed the program to the letter. Jim had asked a conventional doctor about a mole on his leg and was told it's okay. The doctor told him it's okay with that mole on his leg. But Dr. Renee told him it's not okay. It's got to go. The mole was actually cancer trying to erupt from his body, Dr. Renee gave Jim an herb. Dr. Renee gave Jim an herb to put on the mole to draw the cancer out. Wow, that's amazing. All this stuff, man. Listen, these herbs was given to us as a gift from God. And she gave Jim an herb to put on the mole, to draw the cancer out. A tumor the size of a fist came out of Jim's leg. That's how big the tumor was. Came out, literally came out, broke out of the skin and came out. I'm going to read. A big tumor on Jim's leg was like an octopus. As it began shrinking, as the cancer began shrinking, Jim could feel the tumor's tentacles. Jim could feel the tumor's tentacles pulling loose from his groin down to his ankle, right? Then one day when he was at home, the whole tumor just came out of his leg. It was the size of a fist. This left a hole in his leg big enough to drop a jumbo egg into his leg, Jim says. But within a few days, without surgery, if I may add, and without prayer, and without, you know what I'm saying, joining a prayer chain or joining a prayer meeting, the skin came back together and healed naturally, leaving a fresh new layer of skin. The healing or regenerative power of the human body never ceased to amaze Dr. Renee. This is what I'm telling you. It's like God created this body, man. He is not, listen, man, God knew all about this pandemic. God knew all about the COVID-19. God knew all about the monkeypox. God knew all about man who's going to try to, depopulate this, earth and do all kinds of things so they can keep all to themselves, the wealth, the 3%, to keep all. He knew about all that stuff. So he gave us everything that we needed to help the body heal itself. So the healing, regenerative power of the human body never ceased to amaze Dr. Renee. The same thing happened to the ugly tumor on Jim's forehead because he followed Dr. Renee's program. Man, I wish we had some followers of this program. It just came out naturally. The body did what it's supposed to do. With no surgery whatsoever, God's creation is amazing. So the next segment, is a must listen. I got 6 minutes left. And we're going to talk about, the forbidden cancer treatment. Number one, parasites and cancer are linked. Let me just touch on a few, okay? So Dr. Renee put Jim through a program that cleaned the toxins out of major organs of his body and wiped out his parasites. You wouldn't believe this, but all of us, we have parasites in our bodies. A sickly, polluted body is home sweet home for parasites and cancer. Okay, so Dr. Renee said that parasites such as roundworms, hookworms, pinworms, and heartworms are unbelievably easy to pick up. I remember years ago, like maybe 2003, 2004, we had leadership in our garage, and I printed out all these things, about parasites and cancer and things like that. And I printed out, photos, of how these worms, work in our bodies, and I brought it to our staff, and I was, so this is what blesses my heart, because it's come up again. Dr. Renee said that parasites such as roundworms, hookworms, pinworms, and heartworms are unbelievably easy to pick up. You can get parasites from food or water, from mosquitoes, or through the nose or skin. Some parasites can actually be seen with the naked eye. Others can only be seen with a microscope. Now, are you ready? To get at the root of Jim's health problems, Dr. Renee started with Jim's colon. She started with Jim's colon. This is very important for us to pick up tonight, all right? She started with Jim's colon, putting him through a rigorous program to cleanse his colon. Jim went through colonic hydrotherapy for 70 days straight. Jim went through colonic hydrotherapy for 70 days straight. Colonic or colonic hydrotherapy is a safe, proven technology for cleaning out the colon. It's used in dozens of great alternative cancer clinics to literally wash all the junk out of the lower intestines. You're not going to believe some of the stuff you're about to hear. Why is colon cleansing so necessary? Why is colon cleansing so important? Why is it so important? Many Americans have bowel movement just a few times a week, and they think that's normal. It's not. I like to be practical as much as I can, and I'm going to tell you today, my bowel, excuse me, okay? I'm just trying to be transparent, okay? My bowel moved 3 times today, just today alone. It moved 3 times. But many Americans have bowel movements just a few times a week, and they think that's normal. It's not. If you don't have a bowel movement at least once a day, you're on your way to a deadly illness. See, this is what pains my heart, is that we're wasting time praying. We're wasting time, linking up on a prayer chain. We're wasting time going to prayer meeting, getting the car, start the car, drive, and the gas is high, this is it. Listen to this, everybody. I'm going to read it again. Many Americans have a bowel movement just a few times a week, and they think that's normal. It's not. If you don't have a bowel movement at least once a day, you're on your way to a deadly illness. You're on your way to a deadly illness. Okay, it's not because of any other reason. It's not because God curses you, because God can't curse what he blessed. You know what I mean? You may be at risk even if you do have a daily bowel movement. Many of us have colons packed with waste that stays in there for days or weeks, loaded with toxins and parasites. We're not moving this stuff out the way we need to. And I'm going to stop right there. But I wanted to at least talk about the colon, and at least talk about parasite, working together with cancer, because, I'm, like, with all due respect, pray all you want. You're going to pray all you want. If you don't do something about it, I pray that you have some insurance for your spouse, for your children, your grandchildren. This is coming from the heart, you guys. Prayer does not change things. Come on, man. How many loved ones, how many family members, how many children have died, and how many, we all prayed, we all linked arms together. We linked arms together and we prayed, and and they ended up dying. Prayer doesn't change things, man. Faith is an act of the knowing. You understand what I'm saying? Not everybody play football. You know why? Because not everybody have been through the kind of rigorous of training. But all those people that play on the field are confident when they walk in there. You know why? Because they have faith in their training. Got that, everybody? Anyway, when are we going to come back, Fia? Next Wednesday?
August 10th.
We'll come back August 10th. And we're going to... A professional colon cleaner says, the garbage inside of us makes us sick. The garbage inside of us makes us sick. Got that, everybody? Love you guys so much, man. If this message has been a blessing to you, then I want you to partner up with me, right? Sow a seed. Sow a seed and help us reboot the church. Let's build a partnership, that's going to eradicate, annihilate, destroy, and get rid of foolishness, presumption, ignorance, stupidity inside our church beliefs. Okay, I love you guys so much. Enjoy this song on your way out. Hope to see you this coming Friday. Sold Out page, Facebook Live. We're going to be talking about God's principle class. I'll see you at the top if you don't stop. Take care and God bless. Goodbye.
Man, I don't know why you laughing, man. I don't know. Oh, you just mad because you got Bo in the Kalinga, man.
I mean, what you expect, man? Them choir practice was brutal, man.
Come on, you guys, man. We turned out good.
Yeah, we did.